The attention stage of information processing. Attention is the amount of focus placed on and cognitive capacity dedicated to a stimulus. And at the highest level of attention, nothing else distracts from this focus. There are three main characteristics of attention that affect consumer response to marketing stimuli. Attention is limited, it is selective, and it is capable of being divided. First, attention is limited. Consumers cannot possibly attend to all stimuli in the environment, even if they wanted to see everything. Second, attention is selective. Because attention is limited, consumers need to select what to pay attention to, as well as what not to pay attention to. In this manner, individuals protect themselves from being potentially overwhelmed by the number of stimuli in their environment. For instance, we pay less attention to things we have seen many times before. Our attention may also be affected by our goals. If we are looking at a product package with the goal of learning how to use the product, we may be more likely to read the directions than to read the list of ingredients. Third, attention can be divided. People can divide their attentional resources, but allocating some attention to one task and some attention to another can be distracting. So at times, other stimuli may also draw attention and distract the consumer. If consumers are distracted from an ad, they will devote less attention to it. Consumers can attend to a stimulus in a non-focused manner, which is known as pre-attentive processing, such as when we process information from our peripheral vision, even if we're not aware of doing so. With pre-attentive processing, most of our attentional resources are devoted to one thing, leaving limited resources for something else. We devote just enough attention to an object in our peripheral vision to process something about it, but we are usually not aware that we are absorbing and processing that information. A note on hemispheric lateralization. Research shows that a person's ability to process a stimulus pre-attentively depends on whether the stimulus in peripheral vision is a picture or a word, and whether it is placed to the right side or to the left side of the focal item the person is attending to. These factors are influential because of how the two hemispheres of the brain process information. The right hemisphere is best at processing music, grasping a visual, and spatial influence information, forming inferences and drawing conclusions. The left hemisphere of the brain is best at processing units that can be combined, performing tasks such as counting, processing unfamiliar words, and forming sentences. When we focus on stimuli centrally, information is processed by both hemispheres. There is some usefulness for pre-attentive processing when it comes to consumer response to marketing stimuli. In particular, research suggests that consumers will like a brand name more if they have processed it pre-attentively than if they have not been exposed to it at all. Pre-attentive processing makes a brand name familiar, and we happen to like things that are more familiar to us. Pre-attentive processing of an ad can also affect consumers' consideration of a product, even when they don't even remember seeing the ad. Emotions can also play a factor in pre-attentive processing. If TV commercials can engage consumers emotionally, then they can build strong brands even at low attention levels. Although consumers can process some general information such as logos and brand names and emotions pre-attentively, more specific and detailed information such as ingredients and directions for use will have greater impact when consumers devote focal attention to it. Since marketing stimuli compete with so many other stimuli in the consumer's environment for attention, and consumers may have limited motivation and opportunity to attend to marketing stimuli, marketers must take certain steps to attract consumer attention. Principles that help increase the likelihood consumers will pay attention are: make stimuli pleasant. By nature, people tend to approach things that are inherently pleasant. Therefore, marketers can increase consumers' attention to marketing stimuli by using tactics such as attractive models, music, or humor. Attractive models are more likely to be attended to because they arouse positive feelings or basic sexual attraction. Familiar songs and popular entertainers can also attract consumers in pleasant ways. Second, make stimuli surprising. Consumers are more likely to process marketing stimuli if they are surprised by its novelty, its unexpectedness, or if it uses a puzzle. Novelty stands out relative to other stimuli, although it does not necessarily make it more liked. Marketers must make sure that in their attempts to be novel, they do not present unpleasant stimuli that turns the consumer off. Unexpected content differs from what consumers are used to. It arouses curiosity, and it may cause consumers to analyze the stimulus further to make sense of it. Unexpectedness can often affect the extent to which consumers perceive an ad as humorous. Lastly, marketers can enhance attention by making stimuli easy to process, which is affected by several characteristics. For instance, prominent stimuli stand out relative to the environment because of their intensity. The size or length of the stimulus can affect its prominence. For example, consumers are more likely to notice larger or longer ads than smaller or shorter ones. Increasing the amount of space devoted to text within an ad increases the viewer's attention to the entire message. Making ads less cluttered focuses attention to the brand, price, and promotion aspects of the message. Movement also increases prominence, which is why attention tends to be enhanced when a commercial uses dynamic, fast-paced action. Concreteness. Concrete stimuli are easier to process than abstract stimuli. Concreteness is defined as the extent to which we can imagine a stimulus. Notice how easily you can develop images of concrete words such as apple, cat, diamond, engine, flower, hammer, and ocean. Now compare this to your response to abstract words such as aptitude, betrayal, criterion, democracy, fantasy, glory, loyalty, and mercy. The latter list contains abstract words which cannot easily be imagined. Concreteness applies to brand names as well, which is why a dishwashing liquid named Sunlight may attract more attention than a competing brand name, Joy.